This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, March 5th, 2021, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author, podcaster, speaker, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
Back in Texas. And back after 2 episodes gone, we missed him, hip-hop artist, producer, mogul, Derek Minor.
I missed y'all, man.
We
what
missed
up?
you.
What up?
What now? We told everybody that you were in Atlanta shooting music videos and stuff for some of the new music you're releasing. How'd it go? Were you happy? I saw some of the photos of you in like Bugattis and stuff like that. I don't know what you were driving, but
so yeah, me and my brother we rented a Stingray, top down. It was a beautiful day in Atlanta, and we bought gold grills. So we I went full rapper, like full blown rapper. So you know,
okay.
It's good.
Can I ask, as a person who's never worn a grill, how does it feel in your mouth? Does it feel like, do you get used to it, or do you always feel like there's something that shouldn't be there?
So when you first put it in, it definitely feels like something that shouldn't be there.
Okay.
But after a while, you get used to it. I can go get it and show it to you.
Do you talk different? Does it change how you enunciate?
Hold on, give me some.
He's gonna go get it.
So I saw him. Don't you get it like fitted for? This sounds like a dumb question as well. You go in, it's like you're getting Invisalign or something, and it's fitted just for your teeth.
Yeah, but it's way thicker than Invisalign's.
It just snaps in, and this is how I talk.
It sounds
dope,
good.
Man. Yeah, it looks dope.
It's on the bottom. It's on the bottom. Does it feel like you have like that lip stuff that people chew on and spit out all the time?
Tobacco?
Tobacco. Yeah. Does it feel like you have that in
like
your mouth?
you have a dip in?
Yeah, dip.
Nah.
That's what I was looking for.
It feels like a retainer.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you had a retainer, or I don't know if you play sports, if you had a mouth guard.
Yeah.
So what happens is, because your tongue knows that it's not supposed to be there, you tend to talk with a lisp, like how I am now. You know what I mean? So, you know, I got the drip, baby.
Dude, it looks
I got the drip. I had to let them know.
Dude, it looks.
You feel me? I made all the white Christians mad. I don't care. Y'all will be all right. You feel me?
Not all
What
of
made
that.
them mad? What made them mad?
What was
Because
upsetting?
they want to live my life and their life too. Like I don't know. Like I'm just like, why would you get it? Why would you get a gold grill? I'm like, because I wanted one.
Wait, that made them mad?
No lie. Like it was crazy. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you're just nitpicking, because I'm like, it's literally my money.
Yeah.
I worked for.
In your teeth,
I can do what I
in
want to
your
do.
mouth.
It is my teeth. Like I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it was just funny. Like I was, but it was fun. Most people enjoyed it. It's just, you know, there's always the super spiritual people that don't enjoy life and they want you not to enjoy yours. So,
But I still don't get what's offensive about it. Like why they would say anything. It's just like you getting earrings or you getting a new shirt, like it's
or some new glasses.
Yeah,
like,
who cares?
I think it's the suffering servant perspective. Like people think because I'm a Christian and I'm popular that they have to humble me. And anytime I do something nice for myself, like it's something like that. I feel like it's that. Like it's like, wait a minute, you're a Christian. You're not supposed to have this. I think that's the thing. And the thing is, I don't think it's coming from, I think it's coming from a honest level of concern. It's an immature theology of just joy. Like just because me having a gold grill, just because that might make you prideful doesn't mean it's going to make me prideful.
I know what you're saying. Like
You know
obviously a lot of the hipster pastors highlighted in GQ over the last 5-10 years, a lot of people did the hype beast pastors.
Right.
You know, drew a lot of that same criticism, like how, you know, obviously preachers in sneakers is pointing out, you know, how does a man of God like spend $1,000 on sneakers? So there is a debate there, but
I'm not a pastor though. Like,
right.
I'm a rapper.
Derek isn't in vocational ministry, and he's not, you know, like he's not flexing what the tithe, that he's not looking down at the people who are tithing to his ministry
for sure
and showing them the Nike Air Fear of Gods that he bought for $1,200. You know what I mean?
With your 10% of your check. Like it's like, nah, I'm providing
You're
a service.
You're running a for-profit
business over here. I'm gonna spend my money how I want to spend it. You feel me? But I think people get that confused. Like I think at times, like and some of that is just the evolution of Christian music. Like, because I remember when I first started rapping, they told me I had the same I had to fit the same qualifications that a pastor would. And I'm looking back on that, I'm like, that's crazy. But it would make sense why. Well, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm like, I see why people are confused, because some people literally expect artists to hold the same weight as a pastor. I'm like, bro, like literally, I'm just a guy rapping, man. Like, please don't look to me for your pastoral leadership. I'm gonna let you down, man. All I'm gonna do is post memes and raps on my IG. So I'm sorry if I disappointed you. You know.
Well, the other thing too is I think it also highlights the let's say conflicted relationships some Christians have with conspicuous consumption. And what I mean by that is, like, when it comes to ministry, obviously, I think the concerns we articulated, are reasonably well founded. But when it comes to people who are not in vocational ministry, or not, wearing certain items from the pulpit, it's a very different story, especially when you look at ethics, because, I think a lot of the narrow thinking about consumption and certain luxury items, for a lot of Christians, I think it comes down to this idea of how much that item cost. And it's like, well, you could have spent that money doing this or that. But in reality, any product you buy has a cost, but only a portion of that cost is monetary, right? So like if I go to Walmart, okay, and just buy like a cheap looking fake gold watch, okay, then that watch might cost me $15, okay, but that doesn't mean I might have paid $15 for it, but that doesn't mean it costs $15. It costs someone a lot of time for very low wages and probably, unethical conditions to make that watch. We know a lot about manufacturing in parts of the developing world, and the environmental concerns, the humanitarian concerns, the workers' rights concerns. So yeah, I only paid $15 for it, but it cost a way more than that. But then you could say, well, that guy is wearing a $7,000 Rolex. And it's like, well, that's not as ethical as a $15 Walmart. Well, it's like, yeah, he might have cost him $7,000, but that Rolex was built by craftspeople by hand, who are compensated a very fair living wage, who are practicing a skill that has to be done by hand. So, from a technology and sustainability standpoint, is actually going to be more sustainable for decades to come. And
it holds its value. You can pass it down.
And Rolex happens to be a nonprofit. A lot of people don't know or care. They just see a luxury brand. All I'm saying is, like, there's levels of complexity to these issues with conspicuous consumptions that aren't as simple as, well, that costs a lot of money, so it's bad. It's actually like, well, that costs a lot of money, so it might be more ethical than that cheap, alternative.
It's a tension, because, like Jesse, you pointed out, the thing about the hype beast criticisms and the preachers of sneakers is that these are vocational ministers using essentially tithe money to, fund a lavish lifestyle, and there's problematic things with that. But what you're talking about, Derek, is something that, like, even the lane that Relevant's in is, we're a for-profit business that happens to create media that has a spiritual mission, but we're not a nonprofit ministry. And so, like, capitalism and monetary success and profit is actually necessary for us to be able to do what we do. And then, like, for me personally, I experienced this a couple of years ago, Jesse, when for me, we talk about environmentalism, we talk about consumption and waste a lot. And so, like, my house, like, very energy efficient. I have all the smart house stuff. My goal is to almost be like carbon neutral with my house, right? So because of that, like, my dream was always to have electric vehicles and stuff. And so when the cheap Tesla was announced, I put the deposit down. I was excited. A couple of years ago, my my Tesla shows up, right? And I post a picture on Instagram, and I wasn't flaunting or whatever. In fact, it's the more monetarily conservative version of a Tesla, but it was like the apex of everything that I thought was awesome. It was high tech. It was obviously, fully electric, a zero consumption, all that kind of stuff. I was very excited about it, posted a picture, and got like, oh, how many poor people you could have bought food for with that money, and and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's almost like you can't win. You know what I mean? It's like if you have or show anything that somebody else doesn't have, another believer doesn't have, then they find fault in that decision, even if it's done for the right reasons.
Well, I know that we just keep talking about it. I want to say one thing real quick is, Derek, I actually think, and I'm going to choose my words wisely here, I don't think people were upset with you because of the money aspect. I think if white Christians looked at Derek Minor, they would say, but you're a Christian rapper, and those rappers wear gold grills. And so that means they're like not Christian. You shouldn't do that because you're like our Christian rapper. You're like our black Christian rapper. And I think that they wouldn't know how to, that gold grill equals bad. So why does Derek have one? So to me, I'm like, I think the people who were upset with you, I don't even think it was about money. I don't know how much a gold grill costs. For all I know, it's like, I don't know, $120. I have no idea. But I think they would really be like, oh, wait, no, 50 Cent, they wear those. Our people, Derek, you're one of us. Don't put a gold grill because we don't know what to do with that. That's where I think they were upset with you.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And the thing is, and I feel bad for them because I think the church has not done a great job of educating people about liberties and the wide breadth that we have as believers to live our lives. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I think people, they live in such a restrictive, God is this bully in the sky who's waiting to crush you for every mistake that you make. And then a lot of things are done out of fear. So, hey, don't go there not because it's sinful, but because it could lead to sin. Or don't buy that. Don't buy the gold grill, not because the gold grill is sinful, but because it could lead you to pride. Like, you could put that in, look in the mirror, and then all of a sudden you think you're 50 Cent or Travis Scott, and then now you're shooting people. And it's like, it's this fear that keeps people captive. And it's like, I feel bad for you because you live in fear. And the Bible says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but the spirit of love, the spirit of power, and a sound mind. So I think you're absolutely correct in that. It's like, well, why can't I have one if it's not sinful? I like it. I like jewelry. Like, I think it's just that we've made things taboo that shouldn't be taboo. Like, let's untaboo gold grills, guys. Can we do that we're going to officially untaboo gold grills on the Relevant Podcast.
I'm going to actually get one. I'm thinking that we should all get them, and then we can really make them untaboo.
It is an interesting thing. I was sitting here thinking while you were talking, Derek, and like trying to understand. I really do always try to understand where the other person's coming from to have empathy and to listen. I agree with what you're saying, everything you're saying, and I understand probably their tension. What you pointed out, Jamie, is that it's like we as believers shouldn't want to desire the things of the world or desire the things that the world is desiring. We should have, and so I understand the purity of that motive, and it is a thing of the heart. It is a thing that we as believers should always be holding up and wrestling with, to be honest with you, because like with us, with Relevant, like I do desire to make a lot of money so we can make amazing stuff and have a huge impact. And if we have very modest thinking, we will have a modest impact. And so like I am trying to figure out always like how to run a bigger and better business. And you got to spend money to make money. You got to have dope offices to attract the right kind of talent. You got to, all that kind of stuff. Yep. And it's like, there is a slippery slope there that like, maybe then my attention gets more focused on the wrong things than the mission things. And I understand that tension. It is a pendulum that's always swinging in my heart and head over the years, but so I get where they're coming from, but you're right too. Like at the same time, that's about me. That's not about Derek Minor. That's about my life and my heart, what God's trying to like challenge me in my life to do right now versus like, I shouldn't impose my convictions about that on Derek. I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know what he's spent on that. I don't know what he's doing to serve the less fortunate when he's not posting it on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Let Derek be Derek, and I'm just going to worry about me. That's a good way to live your life, you know?
Yeah, and I think, you know, like, yes, we have to be able to say, like, there's things that Cameron may love that I don't love, and that's okay.
The Orlando Magic.
Exactly.
There you go.
But listen, I'm a Pistons fan, so, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment. But, you know, hey guys, like, it's really weird. Like, we got a lot of growing to do. I'll just put it that way.
Well, I don't know how to transition out of that, but we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to the lead singer of Fruit Bats. They have a new album out today. It's called The Pet Parade. I love it. Eric Johnson is joining us. Stay tuned for that. We also have this week's Relevant Recommends. Of course, What's Jesse Thinking? And stay tuned. Up next, it's Relevant News.
I've been waiting my whole life for.
You're listening to Bakar. The song is First Time. Before we get to relevant news, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by Apartment Life. You've got to check out what our friends at Apartment Life are doing. They believe every individual is created for a community, so they're building that community among apartment neighbors. Right now, they're looking for folks who love Jesus, get excited about hospitality, and really take the opportunity to be with people when life gets tough. And get this, Apartment Life will equip you, walk alongside you, and provide you with either a reduced rent apartment or a part-time salary. Visit apartmentlife.org/relevant to join them today. You don't want to miss this life-changing opportunity to really show the love of Christ to neighbors, especially these days. Again, that's apartmentlife.org/relevant. Okay, it's time for
Relevant News.
Please welcome to the show Relevant Senior Editor Tyler Huckabee, telling us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, everybody.
What up?
Hey,
What's
Tyler.
going on?
Hey, buddy.
Nothing. It's no, this is
Nothing.
sort
You
of,
guys called me.
this is sort of an interesting one. This is wanted to talk today about a story that I think actually has gotten quite a bit of attention. Like, it's something that a lot of people have heard about, but it's sort of poorly understood. One of those that becomes a headline and a talking point, but without a lot of clarity behind it. And that is what's going on in the world of Dr. Seuss right now. And has everybody sort of seen that, like, Dr. Seuss, like, maybe you saw the, like, Dr. Seuss is getting canceled situation, and
Yes.
that just kind of floats out there.
I don't know. You can enlighten me, Tyler. I've seen the headlines. This is not one that I've done like much of a deep dive into, but I welcome Dr. Seuss's cancellation, because having read Dr. Seuss books to my children, you think in your mind a Dr. Seuss book is going to take 5 minutes to read, and it's like, if this jerk finds another 35 pages of ways to rhyme the word socks, like, I'm going to lose my mind before my kid falls asleep. Like, those books are so freaking long. Anyway, continue, Tyler.
Well, Jesse, in short, I'll catch you up. It turns out that there's a half a dozen of his books that might have had racist overtones in it. So,
yeah, well, another reason to welcome the cancellation.
There's more than one. Well, so this is sort of it's something that is like easy fodder for people who are always talking about cancel culture, right? Like, if cancel culture is your boogeyman, then the Dr. Seuss situation gives you a lot of opportunities to whine about cancel culture a little more. So what happened is this, and this is sort of interesting when you start to dig into the story here. So it started on actually last month in February, when the Daily Caller, Ben Shapiro's website, noted that an educators group had released a statement urging teachers to stop connecting Read Across America Day with Dr. Seuss. And they highlighted some racist, mostly anti-Asian caricatures in a couple Seuss books as justification for their argument. Then, on March 1, President Joe Biden released a statement cheering Read Across America Day, and he did not mention Dr. Seuss. And that was all some of these people needed to get up in arms about it, right? That was he didn't even talk about Dr. Seuss on Read Across America Day. Joe Biden canceled Dr. Seuss, and that's the end of it. But the real blow did come with this book situation. Dr. Seuss Enterprises, that's the estate that handles it's his family that handles all of his works, announced that they will stop publishing 6 Dr. Seuss books because of illustrations of people of color that are hurtful and wrong, according to them. And they made the evaluation of these books because of a study conducted by a nonprofit called Learning for Justice. They conducted a study on Seuss books in 2019, and I'm just going to read this little section of their report here. They said, of the 2,240 identified human characters in 50 Dr. Seuss books, there are 45 characters of color, representing 2% of the total number of human characters. Of those 45 characters, 43 exhibited behaviors and appearances that align with harmful and stereotypical Orientalist tropes. The remaining 2 human characters are identified in the text as African, and both align with the theme of anti-blackness. It's important to note that each of the non-white characters is male, and they're all presented in subservient, exotified, or dehumanized roles, especially in relation to white characters. So that was the study that was being conducted here that sort of gave the legacy of Dr. Seuss, the estate of Dr. Seuss, the reason that why they decided to stop publishing these books. Now, these books are not being pulled, they're not being banned, right? They're not being pulled from the bookshelves or from the libraries necessarily. They can still choose to have them in there, but we're not going to be getting new printed copies of these books in the future because of the results of the study. And those books, just to be clear, are And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McElliot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and The Cat's Quizzer. So Dr. Seuss at large has not been canceled, but those 6 in particular books will no longer be getting new copies printed out at the regular intervals like most Dr. Seuss books are.
Interesting.
I don't think I've read any of those books. I don't even have
I
heard
gotta
any
be
of
honest,
those
I've
books.
read 2, and I've never noticed any races at all in the books that I've read.
Yeah, they're mostly
just
creatures.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
weird cartoon creatures. Yeah.
Wasn't there some propaganda images too that he had drawn from World War II? Did I read that, or am I making this up with another story?
That was
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He's an interesting guy. He had a lot of political ideals that would be considered pretty socially, politically progressive, even by our standards today. He was very opposed to nationalism. He was very skeptical. He sort of famously, there was this movement even during his prime that was called America First, that was kind of aesthetically similar to the America First movement now, that he was very critical of it. He compared it to the Nazi Party in Germany, which obviously raised a lot. So he was kind of, in those ways, kind of an interesting advocate. But then you also have, like with a lot of people from that time, he's messy. He gets complicated the more you dig into some of this stuff, especially when it comes to depictions of people who were not white.
How interesting.
I think it's completely reasonable. It seems completely reasonable to me to, with the benefit of hindsight, extract things from the marketplace that no longer align with what are socially accepted values, right? Like, I don't see why that's all that controversial, but it does seem like it seems like, honestly, the criticisms of cancel culture are adapting the worst part. The people who are railing, some of the high profile people who are railing against cancel culture are using the methods that they're accusing the cancelers of. Like, they're using the same behavior that they're criticizing. What I mean by that is, like, if they're saying, well, everyone's too sensitive today, we shouldn't worry about things that don't really, matter anymore. It's like, well, then why are you getting up in arms about them not printing Dr. Seuss books that you probably don't even own or never plan to own? Why does it bother you at all? Like, it seems like the estate of Dr. Seuss, these teachers, booksellers, all collectively determined the best thing to do is to no longer print these. Why does that why is that bothersome to like a critic to these people who are, railing on, using this as an example of the how far cancel culture's gone. It's like the Mr. Potato Head thing, where it's like, hey, we're not going to make a Mr. Potato Head.
I believe Mr. Potato Head prefers the term potato head now, Jesse.
I don't even know what that is about, honestly. And
the narrative got misconstrued about that, Jesse. Hasbro tried to, via Twitter, correct the statement that everybody was saying about the potato head thing. So the story was that they're removing Mr. and Mrs. and that it's just all gender neutral potato heads. You can dress them how you want and everything's fluid. But Hasbro was like, people, no. There is still a Mr. Potato Head and a Mrs. Potato Head. It's just we're changing the name to the Potato Head brand. It's not the Mr. Potato Head brand. It's the Potato Head brand. And we have the character Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. But the narrative was gender neutral potatoes everywhere, whatever. And so
which
it's just
by the way,
much ado about nothing.
I hate to tell this to all those, people who are upset about this. Potatoes have no gender. All potatoes are gender. There are no Mr. and Miss Potato Heads in the wild. They are roots. From my understanding, they are root balls to a plant. It's just another. It was like when Target was like, there's no longer a boys section and a girls section in the toy store,
yeah.
And people got all acted like that's going to affect their lives at all. Where it's like, no, maybe it just makes more sense not to have the gender designation for Legos and just have a Lego aisle, because I have a daughter who likes Legos too. Or let's put all the Paw Patrol in one aisle, because guess what? There are boy and girl characters in Paw Patrol, and it's a universally, bafflingly beloved franchise. Like if I have a kid of any gender that wants to watch Paw Patrol, I probably can't stop them. Like, it just seems like the people who are so worried about cancel culture are picking the worst things to stake a claim in, to be like, oh, this is the sign of how far it's gone. It's like, no, actually, these seem like very rational, reasonable steps when you actually hear about them. Like, seems like the things moving in the right direction to me.
I'm like, fam, if whatever the culture of your home is can be upended by people taking the gender off of a potato, it's not very strong, guys. You got to get back in the gym and shoot some more shots, buddy.
So, Tyler, I have a question. Are you saying that most people are upset because the Dr. Seuss Foundation or whatever said, hey, we're going to take these 6 books that our dad or our grandpa wrote. We don't agree with them. We're not going to print them anymore because we think they're doing more harm. That's what they said as an organization. And then are people upset about that?
That's correct.
I'm with you, Jerry. Jesse, I don't know what that's like saying, you know what? My grandpa said some crazy stuff. And you know what? We're going to just take that stuff off the internet because we don't agree with that. But, so let's just take it off. Right?
I'm not going to put the finger at any one news site here that's responsible. Okay. I'm not about pointing fingers. I don't put people on blast. We don't cancel people here on the Relevant Podcast. But there is a news site that seems like it's particularly guilty. It rhymes with
what? Just tell me what it rhymes with, Tyler.
Oh, I don't know. I'm terrible at that. I'm not. That's somebody else's job. But
guys, please listen. I'm like, fam, it's a book. And these are not even the starting lineup of the Dr. Seuss books.
I never heard of any of them.
I've not heard of none of them.
I never heard of them.
This is the ones that sit on the bench. These are the ones that you only get it, right? You only get it unless somebody like mailed it to you if you're part of a book club. Like, you don't go out and be like, man, I'm going to get my kids green eggs and ham, get them Cat in the Hat, and then I'm going to go get them The Fox Behind the Bushes. You like, what?
My favorite. That's a winner there.
Can I believe they're canceling The Fox Behind the Bushes? You like, I never heard of it.
Yeah.
One little wrinkle on this, two little wrinkles on this. Can we just say, like we're trying to say here, they said that they're going to discontinue these books because they portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Can we just say that, hey, we shouldn't probably hurt our fellow
Especially
humans,
in
like that. We
children's
should
books.
just try to lift the
kids' books.
narrative here. Okay, so that good for them, like not publishing things that are hurtful to people who aren't like me, right? Okay,
Right.
so good for them, having empathy. What's interesting is two things that happened after this announcement. One, the books that are getting discontinued shot up in price online.
Oh, wow.
But what's interesting here in Orlando, I'm here in Orlando, and we have Universal Studios, which has a huge Dr. Seuss land.
Yeah.
You can literally go up and buy like green eggs and ham and eat it, and all of a sudden, there's rides and stuff like that. But what's interesting is we're talking about like, who cares? These are peripheral books. Nobody's heard of these books. Two of the books are actually major parts of this land. So there is a part called If I Ran the Zoo, which is one of the books getting discontinued. And some of the characters that portray Asian people insensitively are actually depicted in this interactive
goodness.
See, that's a big deal.
attraction.
That's an Orlando problem.
So that's
Yeah.
one. And then two, there's a gift shop called the Mulberry Street Store, which gets its name from, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, which is another book that's being discontinued. And that store sold these books that are getting discontinued. So now Universal Studios put out a big announcement that they're reevaluating. It's a very popular land, and the majority of it is, green eggs and ham and Cat in the Hat stuff. And they're not going to take that all away, but they are going to reevaluate these, the ones that are connected to these.
If nobody else is going to say it, I will.
But again,
cancel me for this one. Nobody cares about the Dr. Seuss part of that park. People go there for Hogwarts. The rest of it, is bad. You got Harry Potter land. That's cool.
Here's my sizzling hot take is, no one is like, I have to fly down to Orlando and get it. No, it's overflow for when you can't get on a Harry Potter ride or a Marvel ride. Okay? Look, thank you, Tyler, for saying that. Because
The rest
it is
of
the
that
most
park is in disrepair. It looks like a dystopian hellscape, except for Harry Potter, which they pump billions of dollars into every year. The rest of it is falling apart. It looks like
Dr.
Joker
Seuss needs a paint job.
setting up a Batman trap somewhere.
Listen, all Dr. Seuss World is at Universal anyway is a parking lot for humans that can't get into. Like, they're like, okay, they park their cars here. They got to go somewhere where they're waiting for their fast pass for Harry Potter to go get a butterbeer or whatever. Send them over to Dr. Seuss World. Nothing's happening there. We guarantee no lines are forming. Like,
That's true.
Oh, man. I've never
It's
seen
true.
it.
If you just want to be in the AC for 10 minutes, you just go over, jump on the no line Dr. Seuss ride.
That's what I'm saying.
A true
It's
statement.
like,
Mulberry
who are the people actually outraged by this? Like, who are the persons like, no, I can't go to the Mulberry Street Cafe nestled in a corner of Universal Studios that no one goes to. Who are these people that are upset? Like,
Maybe we should be championing the fact that there's going to be a cafe in the Seuss land that won't be hurtful and harmful
There you go.
to
They're gonna redo
some
it.
people. You know what I mean? Like, good. They're going to change it. All right. Well, there's a lot more that we're reporting every day than just Seuss news and Potato Head news. Check us out on all the socials. You can follow Relevant on Twitter, Facebook, IG, and check out relevantmagazine.com all day for what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
thanks,
Tyler.
dude.
That'll do it for
Relevant News.
Stay tuned. Up next, Eric Johnson from Fruit Bats joins us.
If the world fell apart tomorrow, I would find you. I would come for you. 'Cause all I ever wanted for you was to have everything you wanted to do anything you wanted to.
You're listening to Oceanator. The song is I Would Find You. Well, today's episode is brought to you by podcast creation platform Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor yet, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. There are custom tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every major platform. The cool thing is you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Well, Fruit Bats is a folk rock band led by Eric Johnson. He's had a long career in music, most recently earned 2 Grammy nominations with Bonnie Light Horseman. The Fruit Bats have over 1.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify and just released a new album today called The Pet Parade. I would pay to see that. We sat down with Eric to talk about the new album, why his music seems to be connecting with fans now more than ever, and finding ways to be creative even when you're not feeling all that creative. Here's our conversation with Fruit Bats' Eric Johnson.
But you alone again, as usual. Out on the back, how convenient. But soon the drought will become a flood, and it'll drown out the feeling.
So with this new album out and the way that the world is right now, are there any plans to do a tour in the near future, or do you have any idea what that might even look like?
Yes and no. There is I've been in contact with my agent, my booking agent who does my shows and everything for, we check in all the time. And I think what I get the sense is the general feeling in the live music community, which is to say promoters and agents, is that they're sort of like moving ahead with this fall 2021 thing with the notion of maybe we're sort of making plans with the notion of we'll just see what happens. I don't know.
Like most of us, that's a communal sense that I've had zero of for a year now. And being in the same room, singing the same songs, I don't think I realized how vital that is to my sense of community.
Same here. And because my community has been, I was so burnt out on it and sick of it at some point, a year and whatever ago. And I do love doing it too. I think a lot of us have mixed relationships with it because it's there's things about it that are awesome and things about it that are weird. But I was, feeling kind of burned out on it. And then now I'm oh my, it's the classic, absence makes the heart grow fonder, always greener kind of pick your cliche thing. So yeah, I am ready to get back out there.
We've been lately walking down hallways to where we usually afraid to be. We've been tapping into places inside that we've always been afraid to see. That we've always been afraid to see.
So I'm not a songwriter, but when it's time for a new album, do you set a theme or an intention? Do you have a vibe you're generally shooting for, or do you just write until it's time to release it all to your fans?
I think I wanted to be a screenwriter or a filmmaker when I was younger, before I was in bands. And so I've always there's a bit of a cinematic multiverse with my recordings, and I like to sort of think of them as movies. So yes, I do. And then it always changes. It always ends up being something else, but that's how I write too, and how I make records too. I'm not a Brian Wilson, I don't have a tape recorder in my brain. I always refer to it as walking down the wrong hallway. I like to sort of find a door and open it and get lost in this big house that is the album. And I need to kind of start with something and have it be something else at the end, I think.
So what did this album start out as, and how did it evolve as it came together?
I was writing the songs in late 2019. Josh Kaufman, my dear friend and Bonnet Horseman bandmate and producer, kind of got brought on, and he was in LA at my house in the first couple of weeks. He brought his wife and daughter, and we made a little vacation out of it, and we were in pre-production for this album, and it was literally March 10th, 11th. And we were and incidentally, Josh's dad is a retired epidemiologist too. So it was he was I gotta leave. We gotta go home. So because we were we were working on pre-production, and I was going to come to New York a couple weeks later, and we were just going to get started. So, there was a bit of a before and after with this. So the theme really wasn't together, but I was writing these songs even before that were a lot about sort of isolation. And I was just more thinking about culture. I'm never writing about the internet. That's a really weird thing to write about, but I'm not even really a very active social media person, but I am fascinated by people's togetherness and isolation. I think that was like a lot of the themes that I was working on in these songs. And this was before the pandemic and when we all really became isolated. So I'm not trying to say I'm some sort of prescient wizard or something, but it tied into what I was trying to talk about a little bit. Yeah, I never set out with a theme, but the world kind of gave me one.
We all make vows to ourselves not to keep these things so close to our chests, but it's so hard to promise ourselves that we won't lie to ourselves.
I'm curious, do you feel ownership over the way people might take the songs you're writing? The fact that you've written about something specific, but then it might be interpreted in a different way, does that bug you?
No, not at all. And in fact, I like to sort of write very specific lines in a song and then maybe just sort of tumble into an oblique little stretch too, where you can kind of go off and it's like a little more visual and imagistic or something. And I mean, yeah, as long as people don't interpret it in a bad way, I guess. Like, I think like there was a time, I think because I write in major keys and I write boppy little songs that people, I think I just have had more popularity in the last few years. I think people get it more because they just think about me more or something. There was which is great. There was a time when I think like I would get upset because people were like, "Oh, this is fun, light, meaningless music," because it's like mid-tempo and major key, and where I was like, "No, man, I'm writing about my feelings," and you get this a little bit of a younger songwriter defensiveness. I don't have that anymore, but I think people are listening a little better now too. So interpret as you will.
What are some of the songs you'd say were the most challenging or most rewarding on this album? What is one that maybe like stood out?
There's always that's a good question. I mean, I kind of always have those on every album. You've got your little favorite. I mean, a song like Discovering, that wasn't challenging. Those type of like loping mid-tempo songs with those type of, it's always the song that I'm probably pretty sure will not be the single and will not have like 20 kabillion Spotify streams or whatever. It's like it's always the song I maybe kind of wrote for myself a little bit or sounds like music that I would even more listen to than myself, which is that's always a weird thing. It's like, are you making music for yourself or who are you making it for? But a whole nother digression. But like something like Discovering, which was that really is the way oldest song on the record that Josh Kaufman and I actually kind of wrote that together like a few years ago, even before we were doing our Bonnie Light Horseman project together. It was kind of our first time getting into a studio and trying to figure out what our relationship was. So it has a little bit of a special thing to me. It's very, very autobiographical, which they all kind of are. But yeah, I think it has a sound that I just really, that speaks to me. And again, it probably won't be the hit on the record either. So I always like that. It's like I always like my Forgotten Children. Those are always tend to be my favorite. A song like Complete, which is towards the end of the record. I think it's the last song on the record. That's the first one I've done in a while where it's just me and a guitar, which usually I don't do something like that. I have the tendency to, I like sort of this darkness of that. So yeah, it's usually I'll get a couple favorites on there. It's the ones that I know are going to get buried a little bit.
Then later dead drunk, dead dreaming, watching the leaves a shivering. There is no clear objective today, no aim, no theme.
You mentioned that tension of who am I writing for, myself or other people. Do you have an answer to that, or how do you navigate that when you're putting an album together?
I think even the biggest pop artists, even though they're making the most commercial music possible, and there's probably like a group of music scientists in the room at all times, making sure that it's going to have the most radio impact or whatever, I still have to think the really good ones are still kind of like what they're listening to, you know, like that they want to do it. And that if you do something, if you couldn't possibly make something that you hate and put it out in the world and have other people like dig it. So, I mean, I think we all are just making it for, long story short, I think we're all making it for ourselves. And if we're not, you haven't heard that music because it's awful. And it doesn't get out there, you know? Because I have that argument, like with friends with like the indie rock friends of mine and people of astute musical taste will hear some kind of, you know, bad pop song on the radio and they're like, ugh, how does anyone like this? And I'm like, someone does, you know, like they're like, this is so bad. And I'm like, I mean, to you, but like, obviously, yeah, like someone put work into it. But I learned from making that Bonnie Light Horseman record, which is like the first thing I've ever done that like got Grammy nominations and all this stuff, was just that it was so simple how we did. It was like you know, like if it was food, it was not like molecular gastronomy. We were not like cooking with blowtorches and serving it on perfect plated, you know, crazy plates at the fancy restaurant. This was just like, we had like a barbecue with that. It was just like a piece of meat on the grill kind of thing. And I just saw how people responded to that. And I think you can be totally connected with something really, really simple. If you're it just sounds like such a cliche, but you know, just coming from the heart and like believing in it, I guess.
Man, that's got to be so affirming when you release something that's very personal, very intimate to you, and it gets released and it's successful. It kind of maybe makes you feel like you're not as alone as you thought you were.
Yeah, and I've had that. I've been lucky enough to have that experience the past few records with Fruit Bats too. And I just made a lot of music that didn't get heard for years. And I think I'm just must be a crazy person or something. I just like kind of kept going. I didn't let it break me, or I would get little tastes of things. And then kind of starting with the Absolute Loser record in 2016, which I think people like suddenly took notice after me kind of doing it for 15 years before that. And I mean, not that people hadn't heard it, but it had been a very boutique operation for a long time. But yeah, I would always just have one little weird thing happen every year where I was like, okay, I could try another one. So in a way, I sort of feel lucky that things didn't start moving for me until a little later in life, because I think I've been able to have a good perspective on it.
You looked at the smoke, it was like you'd seen the ghosts of everyone you'd ever known, hovering over the hill. You're still from the West Coast, is the only hope you ever know.
That was Eric Johnson. You can check out Fruit Bats' new album, The Pet Parade, wherever you get your music. Stay tuned. Up next, it's Relevant Recommends, and then What's Jesse Thinking?
This week on Relevant Recommends, we're looking at the latest book from Anne Lamott. It's called Dusk, Night, Dawn. So Anne Lamott has had a really interesting writing career. She kind of made her name in the early aughts with the surge of Christian memoirists like Don Miller and Lauren Winner, detailing her own experience with faith or what we'd now probably call deconstruction. But her story was pretty different from a lot of her peers. It involved a lot of complicated battles with loss and addiction, and a much messier relationship with Jesus than even the most honest writer usually cares to admit in Christian publishing. But Lamott's vulnerability and her sort of darkly funny style of writing won her a lot of fans. She's a very good writer, and people swear by her many, many best-selling books. Her novels are very well regarded, but she's best known these days for her nonfiction and her talent for crafting these easily quotable little bon mots about grief and joy and hope and pain, and most of all, God. So that's where we come with her latest book, With Dusk, Night, Dawn. It was written during and about the pandemic, and more to the point, it's kind of about our current moment and how hard it is to find hope right now, and why we need to do it anyway. As usual, Lamott is interested in justice. She spends a lot of time meditating on things like climate change, but her best writing is really inward as she dissects her recent marriage. She's been single all her life, and she just got married in 2019 at the age of 65. She talks about alcoholism, getting older, and of course, God. Everybody says they want honest writing about God, but in reality, I think we all kind of know there are certain kinds of honesty that aren't really allowed in Christian publishing. And if Lamott knows about these unspoken rules, she's never abided by them. And she certainly doesn't start here. She seems like a writer who knows the contours of her soul very intimately. And she isn't shy about writing them down. And she often drops these in the middle of little anecdotes about her life up in Northern California. For example, she writes, quote, "I have forgiven most people who have hurt me or behaved atrociously to those I love. Although there is one family member who I'm positive makes Jesus sick to his stomach, yet, from time to time, I forgive myself for being a bad forgiver. At some point, you realize that we all have dual citizenship here, perfect and neurotic." So it's that sort of painstaking attention to her own predilections that makes Lamott continue to be such a vital read, not just for people interested in faith, but just for people who like good writing in general. She's very good at it. Lamott keeps a pretty great streak of readable, poetic meditations alive with Dusk, Night, Dawn. It's out right now, and we recommend it. You can read more Relevant Recommends at relevantmagazine.com.
Just breathe it in. Lead me through the earth, guide me through your path. Time is on a circular track. Easy, way to feel the same everywhere I am. Walking on your name.
You're listening to Skeleton. The song is Walking on Your Name. It's Skeleton, T-E-N, not T-O-N. Okay, it's time for...
What's Jesse thinking? Huh?
Jesse, what are you thinking this week?
I'm thinking this. We probably should be concerned about how we're treating octopuses out in the wild.
Isn't it octopi?
It may be. And that
I like
transgression.
octopi
And
better.
I will say this. They might remember that transgression because a new study has found that cephalopods, which is it's a marine mollusk, which includes squids, octopi, and in this case, cuttlefish, are actually maybe way, way smarter than we know. And why this is so interesting, too, because I don't know, have you guys ever seen a cuttlefish before? I would encourage you to Google one. They look like something out of a Dr. Seuss novel, a non-problematic Dr. Seuss book. They look like this crazy fish. And for a long time,
it has like a unicorn horn on
gosh.
it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. That's a tentacle. I'm sorry.
That thing is rough.
It's got like a weird kind of face. It's very hard to describe,
It's
actually.
like a tentacle face.
Yeah. And so for a long time, scientists have suspected that cephalopods, which include octopi, squid, and the cuttlefish, among other animals, are actually really, really smart. And even though they look like just blobs, actually might have some cognitive ability. So they recently conducted some research with the cuttlefish, and it found that these cuttlefish are smarter than human children. Okay, so have you guys ever heard of the Stanford marshmallow experiment?
Is it where you put them, you sit the marshmallows there, you leave the room and see if the kids are going to eat them?
Yeah. So basically, the how this experiment works is it investigates the capacity to engage proactive delayed gratification, which is a primary indicator of cognition, right? If you have cognitive ability, if you are willing to delay immediate gratification for greater gratification in the future. So what they did for these children back in the famous Stanford experiment is they put them in a room and put a marshmallow. They've done it with a variety of like sweets, but put them in a room with a piece of candy or a cookie or a marshmallow and say, listen, kid, you can sit here and you can eat that marshmallow. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to leave the room in 15 minutes. If I come back and that marshmallow is still there, I will give you 2 marshmallows. But if you eat the one, you get nothing. And over again, kids, a lot of children lack the ability to delay gratification, even though they know what the outcome. So what they did is they performed a similar experiment with cuttlefish. Now, first they had to train them to, if they were to choose, basically it involved a pretty elaborate test to determine if they would wait to consume a food that, and by the way, these cuttlefish eat pretty good. Believe it or not, they eat like shrimp, they eat mussels, a lot of stuff that I would eat too. That if you wanted to put me in a delayed gratification test, give me some shellfish, man, because that is a good eating. But they found that repeatedly, cuttlefish in these different scenario situations would avoid eating something that they know they liked if they know that if they waited, they would get something better a few minutes later. They also, scientists constructed these pretty elaborate sort of like aquariums that had food in different areas, and they would designate the compartments of this food with, reasonably elaborate symbols that the cuttlefish were later able to identify. So they were able to associate the visual symbol like a triangle with a certain type of food. And so not only were they able to indicate that they were actually practicing delayed gratification to get better food in the future, they were also able to identify symbols associated with different foods. And then the scientists were able to construct delayed gratification experiments using only symbols and not food. And every time the cuttlefish displayed cognition that was very unexpected, and in fact was greater than the cognition, at least when it came to delayed gratification and symbol recognition of some human children. So all I'm saying, maybe we start treating these octopi, these cuttlefish a little bit better.
Okay, so it's octopuses. Just
Okay.
FYI.
Oh, you looked it up?
I looked it up. Octopi is listed as an acceptable option by Merriam-Webster's dictionary, but the preferred plural is octopuses.
I don't like that. I don't like that
falls
word.
in the same category as moist.
I don't like the word.
Octopuses.
Yeah, moist is an awful word, and
I don't like the octopus.
Here's all I'm saying,
Word.
guys. If you're swimming out in the, I know Tyler has a phobia of tentacled animals, so I'm glad he's not on for this. If you're seeing one, be nice to that octopus, because I haven't seen it, but my parents. If you see one in the wild, it should be nice because it's pretty smart. My parents, since COVID, they never even knew how to turn on Netflix before COVID, and now they've watched everything on Netflix since they've been in quarantine. Literally, they've watched everything. And they're like, hey, man, you need to check out this movie called My Friend the Octopus. It's about a guy who develops a relationship with an octopus. And I'll be honest, I've watched a lot of weird stuff on Netflix. That was of no interest to me. Now I'm queuing that thing up tonight. No, my parents were right. This doc looks legit. This guy befriended a freaking octopus. That octopus is pretty smart, man. If I befriend a child, I should be able to befriend the octopus. They're pretty smart. So, guys, be nice to any cephalopods you see out there.
All right. Well, there you go. That'll do it for this week's.
What's Jesse thinking? Oh?
Hey, before we wrap things up, I want to thank Eric Johnson for joining us. Make sure to check out Fruit Bats on IG at fruit_bats. Listen, there's a new issue of Relevant. The March-April issue just released, issue 105 this week. And we'd love for you to check it out. If you didn't see the trailer and the announcement on our social media or email, It is out now. We have our favorite duo, Johnny Swim, is on the cover. Fascinating conversation about their year and what's coming up for them. We also have comedian Nate Bargatze, who I am a huge fan of. We have Hillsong United's Taya is in the issue. We also have one of my favorite actors, Lakeith Stanfield, who's in Atlanta and so many other projects, Knives Out, but also the brand new Judas and the Black Messiah. He's the Judas. We also have Tim Keller. We have more of that conversation you heard part of on the podcast recently with Rachel Denhollander. We have the full thing pretty much there. You need to check that out. It's an important conversation. We also talk about gender equality in church leadership. We talk about climate change, the fight for climate change. Just a ton going on. It is packed to the gills. And guess what? It is available ad-free and for free because it is exclusively presented by our friends at UHSM. So go check it out. It's at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the magazine tab and it's all right there for free, thanks to UHSM. Also, while you're at the site, every Friday, make sure to check out our new feature, Relevant Recommends. It's not only the selection you hear here on the show, but also our favorite movies, books, TV shows, everything else going on, releasing each week. We kind of help you curate it and sort through it all. It's there at the site. And while you're also at the site, sign up for our new newsletters. Relevant Today is our daily morning email, our top 5 trending articles of the day, just the best of the best. And also Deeper Walk, our new daily devotional every weekday. It's an email. You can check it out on the site. And it's also a new podcast. You can go over wherever you get your podcasts and find Deeper Walk. It is phenomenal. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
I'm Derek Miner.
We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I can't go to the Mulberry Street Cafe.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.